Now we're on again. I'm so happy to be here. This is my first time to Scotland, and this has been a dream over 30 years in the making, so thank you guys for being part of my dream.
So something that we have done previously, and we're going to do today, is we're going to do a quick 60-second rapid-fire question.
Oh God.
Loosens the tongue, and just, you know, hopefully will make you more relaxed. But we'll find out. There is nothing Final Fantasy related, it's all just silly random questions, it's the icebreaker questions.
Okay.
So we're going to give it a shot. I wish you all the luck.
Oh God.
Rachel Robinson, your 60 seconds starts now.
So, what is one article of clothing that someone could wear that would make you walk out on the date on them? Something that they would wear to take just to be like, no, not a chance.
Make a good American big again hat.
Yeah, that would do it. Zombie apocalypse. You want 3 people on your team, who would it be?
Oh man, this is tough. My husband, because he's very handy, he's real cute, and he cooks.
Good enough. What is your most used emoji?
Lately, it's actually been a shrug.
Shrug. What was the worst style choice you ever made for your hair?
I used to have these clips called airplanes, and they were fashioned to look like World War II biplanes. They were kind of cool, but I used to wear too many of them at once.
If you were a wrestler, what song would you come into? I don't know how these are icebreaker questions.
No.
Oh, we're out of time.
Oh, okay.
We'll never know now, unless you want to answer.
It would probably be a Bowie song.
Bowie song?
Take your pick. I don't know. I don't whistle, so.
Well, I kind of hope you wouldn't, really.
Yeah.
Tonight's actually what we're going to do is we're all just going to get oiled up and wrestle on stage. Sounds like something you do in Glasgow, to be fair.
Yes.
Again, thank you very much for being here. It's an absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
It's your first KupoCon. I did have the pleasure of meeting someone that you worked with on 13, which was Ali Hillis in Palm X. She's really great to talk with on stage, and I have no doubt that you'll be exactly the same.
One hopes.
One hopes.
I mean, it's lightning, you know, you got a lot to live up to.
Oh. I think Fang was pretty badass, don't you? Yeah! Absolutely. So, you know, let's go right back. I know this was some time ago now.
10 years now.
Wow, really?
Recorded actually 11 years ago.
That's quite a chunk of time.
Yeah.
And the game still has a legacy to it, right? As do
Which is
all
so wonderful.
Yeah. So, was this something that you went looking for? Was it an agent that brought it to you? Did you know what you were applying for at the time?
This came through the agency.
Okay.
They actually, and it was before actually everything was under sort of crazy lock and key Fort Knox NDA.
NDAs, yeah.
A lot of games that we audition for now are always under some kind of very vague working title.
Gotcha.
And they make you sign an agreement before you even audition because some people leak it and then, you know, they get everybody else in trouble. This was, it was probably in the springtime, maybe around March of 2009, and I saw it, and it looked like they were casting from top to bottom, from the 6 playable mains to all the incidentals, and we were free to go through the entire, probably 20 pages of sides and read whichever one we wanted. I actually read for Lightning.
Oh, you did?
And I read for Hope. And I'm so glad I didn't get Hope. I mean, Vincent was great. It wasn't for me. But I saw this one and thought, oh my God, she would be so awesome to play. They were looking for an Australian accent. She was really badass. She was mysterious. You didn't know a whole lot about her. It was one of those like, yeah, this is one that I bet also not a lot of other people are going to go for. So I kind of bet on that.
And did you know about the whole accent requirement at the time?
Yeah.
So what kind of outline did they give you for that? Is it meant to be Australian or New Zealand, or is it just meant to be that region?
I mean, and that was the thing. They didn't say specifically Australian, but you were looking for a down under kind of sound.
Right.
And fortunately, that was an accent that I was good at.
Okay.
I have family who's in Sydney. I had spent time down there. I love Australia too, and I was like, I'm gonna go for this one because most people who do accents are gonna go straight for the British. You know, more often than not. And like I said, she's super intriguing. I mean, okay. So, you know, she didn't look like a lot of the standards. She's wearing a sari, she's got braids in her hair. You know, this one was really cool. And I found out from my agent probably 2 months later that I booked it. It was long enough that I totally had forgotten about it.
We hear that all the time with people.
And you kind of have to do that as a voice actor if you're reading through a lot of stuff. It's hard not to get attached to some things because, like, you want to get excited, you want to show enough enthusiasm, like you sound like you care when you're auditioning. But you can't really get too attached to it because, you know, 95% of the stuff you read for, you're not going to get.
Gotcha.
So I didn't have expectations, I had hopes. And then 2 months later, he was like, "You read for this thing?" And I was like, "Did I?" And he goes, "Oh, it's the Final Fantasy thing, totally." And, you know, the rest, as they say, is history.
Had you done any work with, I don't know why we're getting some feedback today. I apologize, folks. They were working perfectly fine before.
Just be wonky speakers or something.
Apologies, folks. Had you done any work with Square prior to that?
No, this was my first foray. This was actually my first really big video game role too.
Right.
So I got a little spoiled after that.
And were you familiar with the Final Fantasy series very much?
I was.
Okay.
I mean, not intimately, but obviously I'd heard of it. There were, you know, at this point, still I would say only a handful of really iconic series.
Gotcha.
And that this one needs to be sometime in the 80s.
It was
So,
88, I think.
the fact that they were already up to
88.
13 was pretty impressive.
It's a good sign.
Yeah.
It's a good sign the brand is working.
And they're still going.
Yeah.
So it's not really final, is it?
No. Well, actually, the original name of the game was Fighting Fantasy.
So why did they change it to
Because
final?
there's a book series called Fighting Fantasy.
Oh.
Which is weird because I used to play them as a kid.
Do you still have them?
They are in the attic of my mother's house in Oxford.
That's where all our childhood memorabilia ends up usually.
Well, in my mother's attic in Oxford.
Yes. But send me my stuff, will you?
Yeah, I'll get to it. So you said a couple months passed, and you kind of put it out of your head. We do hear that from a lot of voice actors. They say, I just forgot about it.
Especially with the games, commercials tend to get cast really quickly, and they tend to get built saying like, "Hey, we need this in 2 hours," and you better hope that you're not, you know, driving on the highway stuck in traffic. And some people have said, "Oh, you pulled out my phone," and did that. But with games, I think because there's so much planning involved, and they are a lot of times casting so many different roles, and what I would imagine with hundreds of submissions. So that, like I said, that was about 2 months before I did it.
So you find out you got it. Reactions? Were you just like, oh?
My reaction was, "Yay, I have a job!" And then, I was obviously excited to be part of this, but I mean, you don't really know. You don't know what kind of expectations to have because you don't know how long it's going to take, or how involved. Like when I got there for my first session, the director sat down with me and kind of gave me the basic rundown of the story, told me a bit about the character, and that we actually did have some of the Japanese video,
Oh, you actually had some Instagram.
which was nice because I was able to play off that for emotion. I mean, I had no idea what she was saying, but it was more about, what's going on in this scene and, what kind of dynamics are between whatever characters. And that was really helpful.
Okay, excellent. And would you say that the role as fan opened up a lot of doors for you after that?
I think so. I mean, I won't say that all of a sudden it was smooth sailing after that. Like, it's kind of hard not to think like, my first big video game, and what a big video game it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the truth is, there's always still going to be downtime too. But yeah, I would definitely say, especially once I started going to conventions. My first convention was also that year. It was a Kineticon in
Connecticut.
Go figure out how they put that together. But yeah, it didn't, there's always an effort, but I would say having this has definitely opened a lot of other doors because there's so much love for the series, and from what I can see, so much love for this character. It's great because she's so unique, and kind of an interesting point. She was originally written as a man, and they decided they wanted a female to balance out the party.
Really? Mm-hmm. Interesting. So how would you, in a few sentences, describe Fan or your interpretation of her?
She's so complex. Well, what I like about her is that they kind of give you the impression that she's not to be trusted initially. You don't know who she's playing for, what side she's on. But once you get to know her and you spend time, you realize that she is 100% authentic and true to herself, loyal to her friends, the people she loves, and wants to do the right thing.
Right.
She is, she's not deceptive. She's not trying to scare anybody. I like that she's got a bit of a temper, because I do too. And I like that she's got a sense of humor. There's a lot of scenes where she's actually bonking and poking Snow, which is kind of funny because he's always like, ow! And
When you first said that, you said snow, I was like, I don't remember there being bad weather, that much of bad weather, and then I put two and two together, and it confused them. Would you say that one of the things that when I was doing a little bit of, I guess call it research, I mean, I played all 13 titles and I enjoyed them a lot. They are all very different, and we'll talk about it shortly. One of the things that is often argued about is what kind of relationship this is. Is this like in your interpretation, obviously, I know you didn't write it, some say it's like a mother-daughter type relationship, some say it's a friendship, and others, even some of the heaviest Wikipedias out there for the game romance, say that actually it looks like it's more of a romantic relationship, which actually would be quite serious for a Final Fantasy series.
I think it would be.
What is your interpretation of the relationship?
I, as an actor, as a creative person, as a reader, as a writer, I spend a lot of time in my head. I don't know if you guys can relate to that. I tend to overanalyze things myself. And the impression that I got from this is that it could be all three.
Right.
And I don't think it is truly specific one way or the other. I think there are definitely really strong elements of all of those. What I see most in their relationship is that this is like, Danielle is another part of her soul. They're bound, they're connected by whatever, and she will stop at nothing to protect her and keep her safe.
Gotcha.
And, I have platonic love for people like that. I have romantic love for my husband like that. I mean, so who's to say any of them were right or wrong, or, I think they wanted to leave it a little ambiguous so that it could be up to the beholder.
Mm-hmm.
That's my impression. I could be totally wrong.
What do you guys think? What kind of relationship do you think it is? Gay, yeah. Nice Scottish accent, gay. Yeah, they're gay. It's a tough one to call.
Yeah, and like I said, I think
it's more of a protective nature than anything.
Well, and like I said, if I really thought it was strongly one or the other, I would say, but I think that they can all be true. I want them. It is a really, I think the importance of the relationship is how pure it is. Mm-hmm. There's no agenda. Mm-hmm. It's just, you're somebody who's I got the impression less that it was more of a mother thing. I thought it was family with maybe their sisters.
Right.
Or like adopted sisters.
Gotcha.
Like they were raised together. They grew up together. They had experiences.
Because if you play the Japanese version, it's quite clear that Lightning and Hope, there's quite a hint that they have a romantic twist to it. But in the North American, not even slightly, that's very much a brother and sister type feel to it. So I'm wondering if maybe...
It's interesting too how the dynamic changes from culture to culture.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that was something that was discussed, that what would be acceptable in an Asian market, what would be acceptable in a North American market. Not just that, it's how you play the character, right? Like you would have, I imagine, heard what you said, as you said, you'd heard the dialogue in Japanese. Mm-hmm. You put your own take on it, which could completely change the dynamic of their relationship, right? So if people think they're gay, technically it's your fault.
Well, and there are certain images that seem to indicate that. And I was like, hey, that's
I
great.
don't feel I should comment on that.
Well,
research takes you to all sorts of
I
places.
thought if Square Enix was going that route, I thought that was really impressive.
Yeah. So you do the first game, you think, "Whee, success." You do some events, I imagine. You're getting spotted for the work you've done. What was the feedback like?
For this?
Majority, I imagine, a lot of it was positive.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it was, again, because the Final Fantasy franchise is so
Just bring the microphone.
Oh, sorry. I think I didn't do this for a living. The franchise is so beloved and so well known, and I know that, I mean, the voice actors in Japan are revered. They're as popular and as famous as any of our, famous movie stars in the United States. So I knew this was a great deal.
That's right.
Sorry, was the second part of the question?
So you did it, you come out at the end, you're getting great feedback, and then I think, quite a bit of time's passed
Oh, yeah.
now, and then I'm assuming the agent calls.
Yes, well, there had been talk. I would periodically, check in and say, so I heard murmurings if you might do more, because the ending's pretty ambiguous too. I'm not really sure, they're not dead, but they're in some kind of crystal stasis. And but they can't be the end. And my agent said, yes, you're coming back for 52. And I was like, great. So I went in and I said hi to everybody that I knew, and everybody lots of love and smiles, and I brought cookies, and then the director said, I'm so sorry. And I said, why? He goes, because this is your only session. And I went, that's okay. Because, they had a pretty important part in that.
Yeah.
And then, it was all...
It must have been so very disappointing.
Oh, well, yeah. It isn't just that, I had hoped to spend more time with those guys. I mean, we like to work, we always say, the best job is the next job. But it ended up being cool. So again, I tried to sort of put it out of my mind, and I just didn't. But it certainly seemed like it was leading up to something else, and luckily it did, because it was like, hey, by the way, okay, 13-3 is coming, and it's much more work for you. I'm like, hooray! So,
like you said, your part in 13-2 is very minimal, but it is an important part of the story.
Yeah.
13-3,
like a puzzle piece.
right? 13-3, Lightning Returns. You make this grand entrance as the master of this.
The return scene was pretty great.
Yeah, it was. And again, must have been a huge shock. A lot of voice actors get their one shot at it, and then they're begging for more. And you get three. You must have.
I had hopes, of course, like everybody, but I had zero expectations.
Right.
Detachment. It's a constant thing that you have to work on, but not always so easy. Especially, I spent more time with this character than any character I played in the games. She still holds the record.
Right.
We probably recorded the game straight sessions 2-3 times a month for 6 months, and then there was some time off when we came back for pickups and maybe some rewrites and that sort of thing. So all told, it was probably the better part of the year that we were working on this. So you grow attached.
Do you prefer your character's development in the original Final Fantasy 13, or are you more fond of your character as they are in their current state in Lightning Returns?
Oh, well, I guess I would say the original, just because I think it's really fun to sort of build a character from the ground up, to bring them to life, to see where they came from. Not that I didn't love 13 as well, because that was sort of like everybody's, last hurrah. But, to me, this is so much more interesting, because you're developing as an actor at the same time this character is developing. You're actually kind of meet in the middle during that process.
Like I said, that's something that a lot of voice actors don't have the ability to do. Your character progresses over a very long period of time.
Yeah,
most people get one shot
and
and
that's
that's
rare.
it.
Yeah, usually, look, let's be honest, not all video games are well written. I read for a lot of military games, and the pattern, it starts to sound very familiar after a while. Hey, I need a medic, that kind of thing. And a lot of it is, you're not going to make it! So there's not a whole lot of depth in there.
But this character definitely had
This
depth.
is a story. This is a real story.
When you were doing some more of the nitty-gritty parts of the dialogue and the story, how do you prepare for that? Do you just base it on what you see, what you hear, or do you take your own life experiences and kind of push that through?
I can't do that for all of it. I think with a lot of these, you don't get to see dialogue before you go into a session. On rare occasions, I will. Like I've worked on Elder Scrolls.
I know that Final Fantasy just dump it and say, here's the script. And
basically, it's just like a binder of dialogue.
Yeah.
Sometimes the director wants to, and we've stayed friends, which is great, because you don't always get to.
Who was the director?
His name is Jack Fletcher, and he's wonderful. You guys should look him up. He's worked on a ton of stuff. And the relationship between the actor and director is incredibly important, because how the director communicates to you can make all the difference in the world. And if there's not a good rapport, you might not get the performance, or they might not be, communicating the way that they want. I mean, there's a sort of intuition, and I work well with directors who can sort of speak in pictures, if that makes sense.
Right.
Who can sort of create an image for me to work from. I mean, but also the key is not to over-explain it, so here's what's happening in the scene, and here's what's happening before, and because a lot of times your character will be doing this one thing, and then all this other action will happen outside and your character's doing. So you kind of have to brief you on that. I mean, if there's something that resonates with me in the script, that like, wow, that actually happened to me, then I can draw on it. But I won't try and force my life to be in it.
So you get into their times in between all the fan experiences. I hear this a lot. You speak to a voice actor and say, what was your experiences from it? How did it affect your life? Has the fan involvement been a big part of the journey for you?
Oh, certainly. I mean, a friend of mine he plays Dom in Gears of War, and he's in Assassin's Creed as well. And he, I guess, had already been to this con. He said, "Hey, would you be interested in going to this con?" And I told him somebody from Final Fantasy. He said, "Yeah, sure." And that was my first con experience. And then we saw a lightning and snow cosplayer. He goes, "Oh, watch this." And so he walked up and he's like, "So you guys are into Final Fantasy?" And you're like, "Duh." And so he goes, "Well, that's Fang." And she dropped her weapon, he dropped his weapon. You're like, "No way!" And I was like, "Really? You're happy to see him?" And they're like, "Oh my God!" So it's strange for me, because people don't often believe this, but I'm actually quite shy.
You could never tell by the character.
Well, I'm not allowed. I wasn't allowed to be. It depends on the situation. I'm not always the first person to start talking or whatever. So it was so fascinating for me that there was this character that I'd worked on that was so important to so many people. And that kind of introduced me to the whole world of conventions as this really wonderful community, where people who connected with their favorite video game characters or anime characters or comic book characters, and it's a place for you to find your people. And that's really wonderful. So it's cool to be a part of that in some way.
I remember there was a tweet, there was an individual who had cosplayed your character, Fan. You had retweeted it, I think, and put, this is great, I love it. And then that's actually how we touched base.
Oh, okay.
And I think from there...
Power of the internet.
Yeah, it's the power
Twitter sometimes is used for good.
Yeah, and not most of the time.
But most of the time it's garbage.
But it was, it's that fan reaction that brought you here today. As I said, we're delighted to have you. Was there any dialogue in the game that you particularly enjoyed? Because your character, let's face it, is probably one of the most sassiest.
She gets a lot of the one-liners.
Yeah.
God, and it's been so long since I
Well, let's have a look. There's usually like some sort of wiki quotes version, right? So let's find quotes. That was me typing Final Fantasy 13, by the way. Let's see what we've got. Okay, can you read those? See those? Any of those jump out to you?
Oh, so yeah, that's in the big when she's fighting. Finally, a real change. Not a lucky day. Keep a cool head and you'll know it. Show no fear. Okay. Damn it, Reigns! Yeah, he's a dick. I did not remember we're not your damn dolls. But yeah, you can go. It's time for payback. The road, let's back this up. Yeah, this all sounds very familiar. Don't get predictable. That's one of my favorites. Because yeah, that's a taunt for sure.
Like really, your character began off. Like Fang in the first one had some soft side, but by the time we got to Lightning Returns, it was like, I don't care, I'm doing what I want, I'm in charge of
Oh yeah. Well, I just love when she walks in the office and the office chair swings around, she's got her feet up on the desk, like she's a total boss, and I love that.
Yeah, certainly, I think we can all agree that 13 was full of badasses, especially female characters, strong female characters. And I think at the time, even 10 years ago now, we must have something in the walls today. It doesn't like you for some reason. I don't know what happened.
I have angered the ghosts of the Hilton.
Truly, honestly, I've been wanting to say this since the beginning, is what it is if you keep the microphone closer to your face, they can turn it down, and that's what we're hearing is the feedback. So if you basically just swallow the microphone and everything will be great. So the progression of character, when you were recording, did you ever do any recordings with anyone else, or was it always just yourself?
No, it was always just me. And I used to wonder why there aren't more group video game reports, because original animation shows, for the most part, are all group reports.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they get anything done sometimes, because some of those people are so damn funny. I've done one group video game report in something called There Came an Echo, which Will Wheaton was the star of. And that was kind of fun, but yeah, I think it mostly just has to do with scheduling.
Gotcha.
But a lot of times, it does make more sense because there are so many individual called out lines that are sort of unrelated. You're not doing a whole lot of your scenes at the time, but it's, I think, more about just making sure they get exactly what they want without, because I love being able to play off other people, but that's what
Gotcha. So let's take some questions from the audience.
Yes.
I'll let this microphone, I'm going to give you this one. This one's going in the bin.
Hiya.
Hi.
I was wondering, what makes you passionate about voice acting?
What I love most about voice acting, besides a lot of it, you're not limited by your height, or your weight, or your eye color, or your hair color. Although these days now they're starting to ask for headshots, which is annoying to me. But yeah, you're not limited to a particular type of character. You're not even limited to playing human. It's how many opportunities to expand outside of what you are. And I can play ages, 4 to 104, or 204, or whatever the case is. I like to play. I was always a talker, but like I said, I actually am quite shy. I never really wanted to do on-camera stuff because it just makes me too neurotic. But it's a chance to play. Like all of you, I grew up watching cartoons and I had my favorites, and I was sort of a natural mimic, and there were people that I really wanted to know that if I would read stories, I would